Peace, and welcome, family, to another live episode of the Health Class You Never Had. We are the Collective Health Initiative, bringing this to you today, and we're glad to be with you to have this discussion on healthy liver for healthier living, talking about the liver as an organ in the body and its roles, how to take care of it, all of that good stuff. So we want to introduce who's with us today on the show. So first, I'm Dr. U, affectionately known as Dr. U, and I'm an herbalist, a certified holistic wellness consultant. We also have joining us today Master Rashep. Peace, Master Rashep.
Indeed, Hitep and wholeness. Greetings and salutations to all. It's a joy and a pleasure to be here to share.
Master Rashep is our metaphysical specialist, soul healer, as he terms himself.
Right on.
And we also have Ketnu Nefer, Chief Enthusiasm Officer of A Soulful Touch Wellness. Peace, Ketnu.
Peace, Dr. U. Peace, Master Shep. Greetings, everyone. My name is Ketnu Nefer, and I am the Chief Enthusiasm Officer of A Soulful Touch Wellness. I am a certified holistic health practitioner, a licensed massage therapist, community herbalist, and just general overall health practitioner interested in helping women achieve what I call a soulful life based on happiness, wholeness, and wellness. So thank you guys for joining us.
Beautiful. And Ketnu is also the founder of the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering, which is coming up March 27th in Johns Island, South Carolina. Also will be live streamed virtually. So we'll talk a little bit about that during the course of the show as well. GullahGeecheeHerbalGathering.com is the link that you can visit to check out more information about that if you'd like to in the meantime. But we're going to move forward with this topic. And first, I'd like to shout out our members who are not currently present with us. Sister Precious Porter, who usually is in the hosting role, so I'm filling in for her today. And also Sister Clarice Manning, of Rooted in Nature Body Care Products. So peace to them. And we're going to proceed with this topic, talking about liver health. So I'm going to start out with Ketnu. Ketnu, can you explain a little bit about the liver? Like what is the liver, and what does it do?
Well, basically, your liver is your biggest organ of detoxification. I like to think of it as the waste station of the body, and it actually metabolizes and detoxes your body from everything, from what you ingest, what you smell, what you put on your skin. And so it's one of the most important organs in the body. And a lot of people, I don't think they really understand the importance of their liver. Most people think about the liver when they hear about cirrhosis, or think that, well, I don't drink a lot of alcohol, so I don't understand why I need to worry about how my liver works and why it works. But it definitely helps in metabolism with your body. So if you're someone who's trying to lose weight, if you have congestion in your liver, you're going to have some trouble taking care of that issue as well. But it also helps with the fats, metabolizing the fats in the body, your blood production, your blood cell production. So there's many different aspects of the liver that is important for the body. And, it is one of the things that I feel like we don't pay attention to enough, and so that's why detoxing and cleansing is very important. And I want to interject here that the Collective Health Initiative is having a detox that's starting today, and you could go to the Collective Health Initiative page and learn more about the detox and join us today. It's not too late, so that you can cleanse your liver with us and find out more about how that works within the body. So it is one of the most important cleansing mechanisms in the body. And it also helps with
Oh
your
shit.
emotions as well. And we can hear you, Master Chef. And so it's one of those when you're talking about emotions. So that's one of the clear signs that you may need to do a good liver detox when we talk about acute anger issues, dealing with a lot of hate, grief, um, and those type of emotions. So if you find someone who's easily agitated, who is dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of negativity, you just seem like nothing can go right in your life. It's just always focusing on the negative. You may need to utilize some really good liver detoxification protocols. And we're going to talk about some of those things that you should look into and what you should utilize to help you detox the liver.
Indeed, indeed. Master Reshep, Ketnu brought up about anger issues, frustration, things of that nature, and I know that's part of your specialty. Can you touch on that a little bit more?
Yes, indeed. Cool. Give thanks, Doc. So, with my person's experience with working with the liver um, and understanding how it relates emotionally with us, with anger, and some of us are familiar with the chakras of the body, which are nothing more than these energy centers that line the spine, so to say, at least the 7 major energy centers that line the spine. And generally speaking, they're in the same colors as the rainbow. A lot of us like to look at the acronym or letters Roy G Biv, ROYGBIV, ROYGBIV, Roy G Biv. And that's one way we kind of remind ourselves of the colors of the rainbow as well as the chakras. And they have a special correlation with us. So specifically with the liver, um, it generally has a correlation with our third energy center, third chakra, third energy center, which is located just below the navel. And again, that third energy center, um, the solar plexus chakra, this is one of its more formal names, is solar plexus chakra, right in the solar plexus. Interacts with our liver, and it also facilitates or works with our anger. For those who can mention alcoholism or drinking alcohol and things like that, a lot of us may be familiar with some people who drink a lot may not only damage their liver, but they are very maybe angry or boisterous. They get angry a lot. Again, because of the correlation with the anger and the organ of the liver. And one person has looked at was how to curtail or how to, begin to perceive things differently, have a different perspective, an outlook on life. Because generally speaking, we're talking about energy and our bodies and emotions. One of the ways that we can facilitate shifts and change is through our perspective and perceptions. Generally speaking, that's one of the ways that these energy centers work. They receive information as an energy center, they receive information from the environment around us. And based upon our perspective, what we think about, what we interpret, how we process that, it will invoke a feeling within us. And so again, specifically mentioning about the liver and anger, again, my person looks at anger as something that we're mad, we're upset because something is out of line, is out of pocket. Somebody's doing something. We feel as though we got to change it. Oh man, I got to do something. I'm mad about it. I got to do something about it, which is a little different from the other emotions where we may want to be quiet or, feel like we can't do anything. But anger is one of those, liver, the sun, that yellow energy, the color is yellow. This can be sort of our powerhouse, our adrenaline, our get up and go, our do it, So again, if our perception can be that something is out of line, out of pocket, somebody did something, that anger comes and manifests in all of that adrenaline, all of that raw, I got to change this, I got to do something, right? And so if we find ourselves becoming more angrier, upset, moved than we would like to be, one of the things we may want to look at is shifting how we perceive, what we think about the experience, or what we know about reality, how we're supposed to operate, as we say. And one of the things we can keep in mind is this beautiful thing that is called free will. My person like to suggest that free will is the saying goes, the greatest thing since sliced bread, even though it was here before sliced bread. That's just how powerful this thing of free will, the ability to choose is. Free will is just our ability to choose. And generally speaking, anger, again, is we feel a certain way about how someone else, organization, people are exercising their free will, how they're doing the thing. And we want to change that. If we shift our perspective and maybe understanding and realize and remember that we all have a right to express ourselves how we choose to. That's part of incarnating, to express ourselves, to create, to do, to be. And at the same time, energetically speaking, karmically speaking, to the degree that we allow someone else, whoever they may be, organization, people, first place, things, event, allow that to express itself, especially if there's not any imminent dangers, they say, like we're not about to get stabbed or, there's not a fight about to happen. We're just watching TV or having a thought of our own. We're by ourselves. That type of anger, of course, if something is happening, anger is that's what it's there for. Fight or flight. Got to do something. Got to handle it. Handle your business. So anger in itself is not so-called bad. Again, it is how it is used or misused. Again, if we find ourselves wanting to change a lot of people, a lot of times, that may be a misuse of anger. And again, it not only does something within us as far as tension, frustration, certain chemicals come off in the body, and it's more of a deteriorating effect than the healing effect. Also, as karma goes, some of us who, look at karma, we also will come into people that want to change us as well, who want to change the way we do things, how we look, how we say. They just find something wrong with us and be like, hey, you. Again, that's another way of just looking at how anger, which it correlates with the liver, our third chakra energy center, can have an effect in our everyday lives, just very so subtle. So without going too much deeper, because, we can go a lot further than that, again, just a little insight about the liver and anger in our third chakra.
Yes, indeed, Master Shep. Thank you. That was a very, very potent and important perspective. And, it's always interesting, the correlation between the metaphysical, the energetic side of things, and the physical side of things. Because when you look at, again, what the liver's roles are in the body, one of the things that the liver is responsible for is conversion of energy. It takes materials, physical materials, it breaks it down, it changes it and reforms it into other things that the body needs. So the liver is like a super, super important conductor of energy in that way. And so along the same lines of what you were talking about, with people wanting to change you or you wanting to change people, that's kind of what the liver does in the body, but moving forward, and I want to bring back a point that I forgot to mention in terms of who we are. We are, again, the Collective Health Initiative, also known as the Chi. We term ourselves your holistic HMO. We are indigenous wellness service providers, practitioners. We incorporate a natural and holistic approach to wellness into our lifestyle, and we assist others with doing the same. So we're here for you, for anybody who wants to make that shift into healthier habits from a natural and holistic meaning and approach to health, dealing with the spirit, the mind, the body, and the environment. We are here for you. So the health class you never had is about bringing practical health information, perspective, solutions from a holistic standpoint. So with that said, moving forward, Another thing that I want to mention as well, that the liver is involved in is hormonal regulation.
Mhm.
One of the things that many people who are going through different hormonal imbalances, and we see this a lot with women, and I want Ketnu to speak to it from that angle because she's the women's health expert here, but I know I've seen it a lot. I have a lot of women clients as well. It happens with men, of course, also, because what happens with one happens with the other, but I know I see it a lot with women's health, with different hormonal imbalances and conditions that surface from that. So, can you touch on that a bit, Ketnu?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Yu. With the detoxification of the liver or the excess of toxins in the liver, it does impact a lot of the hormone functions in the body, especially when we talk about infertility, PMS, even with fibroids, endometriosis. A lot of times, there's some issue with the liver. There's some stagnation in the liver, and when you make the correlation between the emotions and with the especially with infertility, when you're dealing with grief, especially if you suffer from a miscarriage, um, or even dealing with the grief of the weight of your community asking you, when are you going to have a baby? When are you going to have a baby? And not knowing that there may be something physically wrong with your body that's preventing that from happening. You can internalize that, and your liver has to process that. And so doing a really great detox, just a general detox that includes herbs, um, essential oils, affirmations, and things like that that are going to help your liver to detox, it's really beneficial. And sometimes that's all it takes is that really great flushing of the liver to enhance its normal function so that the hormones can balance out naturally, so that the emotions can balance out, because now the hormones are in place that's going to help you to think more clearly, that's going to eliminate some of that brain fog, that's going to take away some of that grief and anger or frustration that you're feeling because you're dealing with this situation. Is really key, because you know when we talk about the synthesis of different proteins, and also your liver helps you to produce some vital vitamins and minerals as well, like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. And a lot of people have some of those mineral deficiencies as well. That's preventing the hormones to balance out, and is adding on to some of those issues that I talk about, especially like the fibroids and the endometriosis. Even with the menstrual cramps, that is a hormonal imbalance. And if you're not getting the essential vitamins and minerals that's going to help your body to prevent your muscles from cramping up during that, it really helps. So doing a really great detox of the liver a lot of times eradicates some of the women's issues that are happening in the body.
Indeed. Um, you know, a couple things that came to mind from my experience that I also see as concerns, as manifestations of concerns with the liver. To add to this list, seasonal allergies. That's definitely something that often has a lot to do with liver issues,
Mm-hmm.
skin problems, things like eczema, psoriasis, itching, rashes on the skin. There's a lot of different quote unquote conditions that can be attributed to these types of symptoms. But at the end of the day, a lot of this has to do with the liver, and the liver being congested with different toxic materials, from the things that we are eating or consuming, eating or drinking. Sometimes it could be from toxic gases in the air, things like not only you know, when I say toxic gases, I don't mean like something that you would need a gas mask for per se, you know, but even car exhaust, you know, or truck exhaust that's rolling by on the street, and we breathe that in, and the liver has to filter that out. Or cigarette smoke, or marijuana smoke, or, you know, all of these different things have an adverse effect on the liver. All pharmaceutical drugs, you know, have an adverse effect on the liver, you know. So there's so many different things that can impact the liver in that way. um but the skin issues is like basically a manifestation of the body trying to get rid of those toxins, and is not being eliminated through the proper channels, which the liver has a large role in. um so I want to take time to bring to our audience, to our live audience now, if you have any comments, any questions at any point in time in this program, feel free to chip in. We are definitely we actually love to address live comments and live questions while we're doing this broadcast. So by all means, you know, if you have anything to contribute to the conversation, you can bring that, comment that right in the comments on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel page if you're watching via YouTube. So moving forward, we're going to talk about some solutions, and in conjunction with this detox that we are spearheading at the moment. You know, I can talk about some things that I'm doing personally. You know, one simple thing that I'm doing, you know, is I start out my mornings with drinking a full glass of water. Some people might add a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice to their water. Personally, I have a trace mineral supplement, you know, and I add the trace mineral supplement. Shout out to Communal Effect, which is Dr. Kokai's brand. And he offers a trace mineral supplement that I'm using currently. And I'm putting those trace mineral drops in my water to remineralize the water. And those minerals have a detoxing supportive effect on the body, you know, similar to like how the lemon or the lime would, you know. So every morning I'm starting out my day with that. Before I eat anything, after I brush my teeth and before I eat anything, I'm starting out with that glass of water. Let that sit for about a half hour before I consume anything else. You know, another piece that I'm doing is making sure that I'm eating a lot lighter than I normally would. You know, people don't realize how much eating heavy during our day-to-day impacts the liver, because the liver plays a crucial role in digestion and metabolism. So anything you eat, the liver has to try to break that down. And it's said that, you know, generally speaking, it takes at least 2 hours to about 4 hours to break down and metabolize most foods, you know. And this is not, this is just like foods in their natural state. This is not fried chicken and fried fish and baked fish and you know, pork chops and hamburgers, and you know, even if you're on the vegan side of things or vegetarian side of things, the processed veggie burgers and tofu and so on and so forth. These things take longer for the liver to have to try to process, to break down. So you can do the math. If we're awake, you know, for give or take 12 to 16 hours in a day, if we're eating, many of us 4 times, 5 times a day, including snacks and you know, all types of things like that. You know, how long is it really taking for our body to process these foods, and are we able to do what we're supposed to do, extract the nutrients, and get rid of the waste products that we don't need? So if you're eating 3 to 5 times a day on average, and you're having one bowel movement every day or one bowel movement every other day, a lot of times that can be a sign that the liver is overworked as well. You know, just bringing that to the forefront. So I'll tend to eat lighter, eat smaller portions, maybe like a handful size portion, of a meal instead of like a full plate of a meal. Things that I'm not cooking with any oils, or eating foods that have cooked oils inside of them. That fat buildup is fat is one of the most difficult things for the body to break down, for the liver to process. So, and fats tend to cling to toxins. So let's say if you've ever had a piece of butter or margarine, which is practically all fat, and you drop it on the floor by accident, and then you go to clean it up and you see all of that dirt attached to that butter or to that margarine piece. That's how fat functions. Fat holds on to toxic materials. So the more fat that we consume, the more toxic materials that the body can hold. So when we are doing detoxing, it's very good to limit the amount of fat that we're consuming on a day-to-day basis. Fat deposits can also accumulate in the liver, and it can contribute to a condition known as fatty liver. Same thing with alcohol and refined sweeteners, refined sugars. It can do the same thing because sugar actually can convert into alcohol inside of the body. So many different things, but I'm going to turn it over to Master Reshep. And in lieu of this detox, what are some things that you are utilizing, some tips that you can maybe offer for our viewers right now?
Yeah, cool. Give thanks, Doc. One of the things that my person add is a psyllium husk and bentonite clay. It may be some for more experience, or the serious detoxes or what have you. And actually, your person could probably speak more to the details of that. All a person got is similar to that butter effect, where the bentonite clay and psyllium husk tend to just come down and just scrub all the things out of the colon and intestine that should not be there. Aside from that, my person also looks at again, energetically speaking, how to shift energy around, move the energy, meaning like qigong, yoga, some yoga positions, qigong, tai chi are all geared to moving energy around. And there are certain movements that specifically will help to either tonify, build up the liver, and or detox the liver, build it up or detox it. So my person on a daily basis, as the seasons change, shifts its qigong movement. Right now, coming from the winter season, my person was doing the movements for the kidneys. And now during the spring, the transition is going towards qigong movement for the liver. Is in season, so move in season. And just a little tidbit to that, my person does a little bit of spleen work in between the seasons, just to kind of get that spleen in, meaning there are 4 seasons and 5 major organs deal with our emotions. So just a little insight, spleen in between. And plenty of water, like Dr. Yu had mentioned. And along with the qigong movement, plenty of water, constantly get plenty of rest. Also looking at the meditation piece. Again, just spending time to shift, like reflect, looking at actions, looking at my person's thought process. And just as an FYI, when my person says my person, it is simply referring to the physical body. A lot of us have the notion or the idea, the concept that we are not the actual physical body. We're spiritual beings having this human journey, the time of death, so-called the separation. So just speaking my person is the physical body. It identifies it as my person. It's the pronoun, I guess. People often do pronouns these days. So as a metaphysician, it just has a pronoun for this physical body, my person. Yeah, so again, this is kind of sum up with the rest, the qigong movement for the liver, the psyllium husk and bentonite clay to actually flush out the colon. And with the meditation piece is about reflecting in order to reprogram, to reshift, to get a different type of results. Again, for my person that looks like, what was it upset today about anything that someone did? And why was it upset? Was it something directly at my person? Was it just something that we don't disagree with? And so on a daily basis, beginning to shift and understand that we don't have to get upset. It's okay. And just letting it be and just letting it ride, let it settle down, also has this calming effect. And over the process, like today, in so-called March the 8th of 2021, generally my person just does not get as angrily as or upset as it was, say, a year ago. Even with the so-called things that have been going on, the energies have been very trumped up recently, especially over the last 4 years. There's all these trumped up energies. My person just finds itself, even as things get more trumped up, becoming less agitated. And by being less agitated, because it's working with self and saying it's okay, free will, and what's happening, there's a shift that takes place. It's freeing up energy, it's being redirected. So instead of using energy to say, why you? The energy's back to why you, as in why me, as in why is it I still do this? Or why is it my person is still doing this when it says it wants to do this? So in that process of, one can look at it as getting out old wine, getting out the program and shifting the energies that's here, that's been habitually working a certain way. My person spends the time, especially during this spring season, to work with their liver and says, okay, we don't have to get mad about what somebody else do, but what are we going to do? Springtime is about, a lot of people say, oh, it's hot, the birds and the bees. There's this energy of doing something. And with that energy of doing something, it's a perfect time to redirect whatever energies, you may be upset with somebody else about, back to self. Use the energy of the spring, the initiation to just says, hey, let's start some things for self and create a discipline, a rhythm, and just keep asking self, why do I keep doing this? And I should be doing that. So it's a way for my person to focus instead of why you on the external, on itself. And again, over the course of time, like all things, takes time, practice. And the more we do it, specifically results my person's found is just not being upset. And pretty sure that has an effect on the liver and other aspects of the body itself. So that's my personal approach to the detox, especially in the springtime with the liver.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Kim and Mama Kathleen in the comments. We see y'all. We appreciate you tuning in and contributing to the conversation. What herbal teas, Mama Kathleen has this question. What herbal teas for cleanse other than dandelion tea? So dandelion, if you caught our last episode, we talked a bit about dandelion in terms of being a great detox supportive herb. And dandelion can be used as a tea. You can also eat dandelion leaves as like greens, like how you would eat collard greens or spinach or something like that. You can put it in salads, you can cook it either or. I actually just picked up some yesterday in conjunction with this detox protocol I'm doing. But nonetheless, what I'm utilizing at the moment, I actually have a liver cleansing formula, which is a combination of different herbs that you would use to make an herbal tea. You simmer it up in a pot, and that you strain the herbs out and you drink like about 2 to 3 cups a day. So that's actually what I'm utilizing. It's called Liver Tonic. My company name, my brand name is U360 Holistic Health and Wellness. So U360.com, YEW360.com. So aside from that, I'm going to talk about a couple of the herbs in the formula, that are kind of like major herbs that can help with liver health. One is milk thistle. Milk thistle seed is most commonly used. It's available capsules, it's available by itself, where you can brew it up as an herbal tea, as an extract, all of the forms that herbs generally come in, as well as part of this liver tonic formula. But milk thistle is probably one of the most common herbs used for any kind of liver health concern. Um, somebody once I saw somebody once describe it as like a washing machine for the liver.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of leave it at that. Um, a second herb that I'll mention is calendula. Calendula or marigold is another herb that is very beneficial for liver health. And calendula kind of helps, especially for people who have like, let's say, like hardened liver, a lot of solid deposits. The liver is like not flexible the way it should be, so to speak. The calendula is kind of like a softener for the liver, and it to helps with basically like a little bit of a deeper cleanse. The calendula is very good in that regard. And a third herb that I use in that formula, among a few other different herbs. Each herb kind of has its own role in terms of a formula. But a third herb that I use in that formula, which is kind of like a potent herb, is called baldo. Baldo leaves. And baldo is basically like a stimulant for the liver to get rid of things that doesn't need to be there. And I'm just paraphrasing. There are many, many different qualities attributed to each herb, but I'm just kind of paraphrasing for the sake of this show. Those are things that I incorporate into my formula, but you can get the formula itself, if you like, via u360.com, or you can, search out those individual herbs, do your research, make sure that this is right for you, or you feel it's right for you, if you want to just try it out and see how these things maneuver. You might hear in this program too, before I turn it back over to Ketnu, you may hear a lot of interchanging between talking about the liver and talking about the intestinal tract and talking about the colon. That's because they're very, very much interwoven. And Master Shepherd talked about the bentonite clay and the psyllium husk, which work with the intestinal tract and helping to cleanse that out. Like he said, is basically like a big broom for the intestinal tract. And that's very, very important for the liver, because the liver produces enzymes that helps to break down things in the intestinal tract. Very, very important. So if the intestinal tract is backed up with a lot of things that need to be broken down and moved out, that makes the liver have to work harder to do the same job that it's supposed to do. So when the intestinal tract is clear, the liver can ease up a little bit. Like, oh, I got a little, I can take 2 hours off of work today. So that's why you'll hear a lot of interchanging between the intestinal tract and the liver. So, Ketna, what are some things that you're implementing currently?
A lot of what you guys are doing, but also incorporating some essential oils. For those who know me, I am a big aromatherapy fanatic, and it's another great way to get the herbs into the body and stuff like that. But before I get into that, I know Mama Kathleen asked about some affirmations, and I do utilize affirmations as well when I cleanse and detox, but I utilize them every day. But one of my favorite ones is I trust my body to release what no longer serves it, or something like that. I trust my body to release what I don't no longer need. Or another one is, I am happy, I am healthy, I'm whole. I'm an amazing being full of energy and light. I am releasing negative energy. I release negative thoughts. I am at peace with myself. I accept myself as I am. So some of those affirmations can be utilized to help you detox, because like we said, talking about, cleaning out the physical body, but we need to clear out the mental and spiritual body as well. So those are some great ones to utilize. And know that cleansing is a process, you know, and saying that I recognize that cleansing is a process, and I accept whatever comes, or I'm willing to deal with whatever comes up so that I can be happier. I could be more healthier. I could be whole. Um, so in addition to affirmations, I use essential oils. I make a detox essential oil blend. Some of my favorite oils to use while I'm detoxing and cleansing. The first one would be cypress. Cypress is really good for the liver itself. It actually helps um, the liver to flush out any additional toxins from the body. And it is such a powerful fragrance in itself. Just even smelling it, I could feel something activate within my body, and I incorporate it a lot of times in my massage practice to help people deal with you know, detoxifying. So it's kind of like a little extra, like I like to add, because sometimes with um, stagnation of the liver, you could actually feel pain within the lower back. Sometimes the back pain is a indicator because the liver doesn't have pain receptors itself. It kind of shows up and reflects in different areas of the body, and a lot of times you will feel like pain or like a dull ache right under the ribs on the right side of the body. That's a good indication that you may need to do a liver detox. Also, any right shoulder pain, and a lot of times for me, when I feel like my right shoulder is just giving me the blues, more times than not that I need to do a really good detox. Um, so those are two bodily indicators that can show up as well. Geranium, if you know me, I love geranium. Geranium essential oil is a really good oil for women, particular because it helps to elevate and balance out the hormones and the mood, but it also helps the bile, which is the which is produced by the liver. And the bile actually breaks down and helps with the digestion system. So geranium actually helps more bile to be produced to help you detox better. Um, right neck pain, Madam Kathleen, doesn't necessarily suggest, just because it's on the right side of the body, doesn't always reflects to the liver, but those two areas are more closer to the liver. But it could be potentially, but it could be a reflex sometimes too, because sometimes pain in one area can reflex to another area. And so it could be an indicator, but more times than not, is not one of the true indicators of that. But yeah, so geranium is another one that I use. What else did I have? Ginger. Ginger actually helps to reverse fatty liver, like Dr. Yu talked about. And, a lot of times we suffer from fatty liver and don't know until, you start exhibiting other signs of something that may be going on with the body. And then when you go get diagnosed at a doctor and they say you have fatty liver issues. So it actually helps, ginger helps to stimulate the liver and liver production. So ginger oil, ginger essential oil, or even doing a ginger tea, just taking the fresh ginger and, dicing it up, or even just putting a little knot in some water and hot water and drinking the ginger tea is really good for that. And also juniper berry. Juniper berry is one of my favorite detox essential oils. It's really good for helping with purification of the blood, and it helps to relieve some of the burden of the liver. So juniper berry, and it's also good for joint pain. And sometimes too, joint pain can be an indication of liver stagnation in the body. So those who are dealing with arthritis, that tends to be an issue as well. And actually
make sure you're muted.
Let you do that. And the last one, like I like to use, is rosemary. Rosemary essential oil. It also helps the enhance the bowel flow, and it reduces some of the um, plasma liver enzymes in the body. And so rosemary is really, really good for that. And that's something that you can incorporate more into your foods if you want to use the fresh rosemary. Or like I said, you could put all of these oils into a carrier oil and make a detox blend. I like to rub it over my lower back area so that it can focus on the liver and the kidneys and that. And so just focusing on that area. Another thing that I like to do is detox baths with some of these herbs that Dr. You talked about, and actually sitting in those herbs and using that to help the skin to release some of the toxins out of the body, because we know our skin is the biggest organ of elimination. So doing like herbal baths with some of the detoxifying herbs, or even a few of the essential oils, a few drops, sitting for like 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure that you drink water while you're doing that, and everything. Miss Dorothy, I could post a recipe on the Collective Health Initiative page after we get off here, because there's several different ones that's floating around in my mind, so I can actually do a graphic so you can have it for the detox blend, because I can give you and then give you specific drops per oil so that you can get a really good balance, because I'm very big on harmonizing the oils, because the essential oils have a top, bottom, and middle note. And so you want to make sure that you incorporate all three of those when you do your blend. So I'll be sure to post that on the Collective Health Initiative page, and then we'll share that in the Collective Health Initiative group as well. A couple other things that I do incorporate into my detoxes is I like to drink chlorophyll as my green drink, so I'll be incorporating that during the week as well. Chlorophyll is a really good blood purifier. It really helps with the skin. It's a natural deodorant for the body, and when you ingest a lot of live green plants, especially in their raw state, you don't actually need to use a deodorant, because it's a natural deodorant for the body. And I find when I do ingest more of that, I do not need a deodorant. Now, you may need an antiperspirant if you tend to sweat a lot, but as far as a deodorant, like, so I don't have that body odor smell when I ingest more of these live plants. So the chlorophyll, the liquid chlorophyll, is one that I really like to use. I'm a affiliate of Nature Sunshine, and I like to use their brand because it has a little bit of mint in it and everything, but it really resonates within my body, and I feel a lot more energized when I do incorporate that as well. And I also use Diatomaceous Earth, which is there's a type of plankton that grows, and the diatomaceous earth is actually the pounded up, dried up plankton, and it comes in a powder, and you always want to use a food grade diatomaceous earth. And I take that. It actually works like the bentonite clay and the psyllium. It actually binds the toxins and binds to the toxins, and it pushes it out of your body. You want to make sure that you drink a lot of water for that. And it's really powerful. It actually helps to lower the blood pressure. So if you're someone who's dealing with high blood pressure, and wanting to do a really good cleanse, the diatomaceous earth is really good. And I like to utilize that. It really helps to clear up the skin. It just really revitalizing. So I like to incorporate that. I use it more as a detox as opposed to a daily thing. You can take it daily, but I like to use it as a detox. And when I'm detoxing, to really help pull out the excess toxins and stuff in the body. So those are just some of the things that I like to do for detoxing and incorporating. And with any of these suggestions that we're talking about, feel free to reach out to us after the broadcast. Our information is being scroll across the screen, or if you just want to send a message to the Collective Health Initiative page, we'll be sure to answer any questions and things like that for you.
Thank you, Ketnu. Yeah, beautiful suggestions. Things that we're incorporating. The diatomaceous earth, the psyllium husk, and bentonite clay mix is almost like one or the other. Two ways to achieve the same goal. And that's what you'll find with detoxing and with liver health, and a lot of different concerns health wise. There's always different approaches to it, different roads to get to the same destination. So that's an important thing to remember. So I want to I guess I'll wrap up by mentioning a few foods that are good supportive foods to utilize for liver health. One thing is parsley. Fresh parsley is excellent for supporting the liver, helping with detoxification. And you also have, I think lemon was mentioned earlier, but I'll mention that again. Lemon is an excellent food as well. So you can eat the lemon or use fresh lemon juice and dilute it in water, and drink that. Excellent support also. Even the lemon peel, which is where the essential oil comes from. You can take the lemon peel and you can drop it and let it sit in your water. Here, of course, we're going to recommend that you do organic, and wash the peel really well to get any kind of like wax coating and things of that nature, or dirt or germs and things of that nature off of the peel before you go that route. But definitely a very, very potent detoxifier, potent but mild at the same point in time. I also, Ketnu mentioned ginger already. I also want to mention papaya. I also want to mention asparagus, celery. Celery is very, very underrated in terms of liver health. Excellent herb, culinary herb and food to incorporate. Radishes are very good as well. Most of your citrus fruits, and bitter greens. So I mentioned dandelion is one. Turnip greens is also another one that can be put into that mix. Mustard greens, these are like three of the top ones that come to my mind and some of my favorites in terms of detoxification. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to close out.
Before you
Yes,
leave,
sir.
yeah, yeah, thanks. Before we close out, we do want to answer Mama Sister Kathleen's question about movement. Yes, my person will do a demonstration later this week, maybe by on Wednesday, on movement for the liver. So give thanks for that reminder, Sister Kathleen. And also, just want to make mention of just three crystals for those who may be interested, curious, or would like to, experiment with crystals. And those are the citrine, the tiger's eye, and shungite, Shungite. And generally speaking, the citrine and shungite both facilitate with the third chakra energy center. And a slight difference is, just real quick, the citrine is also geared more towards prosperity, like money, finances, attractive things to you, as it works with the third chakra energy center. And the tiger's eye is more assisting with the use of your will in a more divine way, the higher aspect of your will. So just real quick, those are two crystals for the third chakra for those who may wish to experiment with, as well as the shungite. The shungite is a black stone, and it is an excellent stone for detoxing. It is an excellent stone for putting in your water if you wish to make an elixir, as they say. It is said to have properties such as fullerenes that will supposedly take things out of the body that should not be there. As well as it is a great crystal for protection, as I say, from EMF, Wi-Fi, 5G, and things like that. So the shungite is a good crystal to have for total detoxification, physical, metaphysical, ground and things like that. And again, the citrine and tiger's eye are good, crystals to have, common crystals to have to invoke that third chakra, for its higher good, or to harmonize that energy center of the third chakra, commonly called the solar plexus chakra. So just want to add that a little bit about the crystals in that, Doc. Give thanks.
Thank you, Master Chef. Very, very good information there. So make sure you check that out. Master Chef also offers some crystals. He may have the ones that he's speaking of, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
All right. Make sure. So, Master Chef, would you want to share your website?
Yeah, that is soulhealing.org. SOL healing.org, and it should be across the bottom for a scroll or two right there.
Indeed. So again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to close out by, as promised, allowing Ketnu to speak a little bit about the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering coming up. So really briefly, because we only have a couple minutes left, can you just tell what that's about and how to go about attending?
Thank you. The Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering is my herbal conference that's happening on March 27th in Charleston, South Carolina, on Johns Island, South Carolina, in person, and it's also streaming live simultaneously via Hop-In. The in-person gathering is now sold out. Yay. And so, but you still can attend virtually. So you get your virtual tickets. The tickets are $50. There's 12 workshops that deal with Gullah Geechee culture, herbalism, plant walks. So it's going to be an amazing event. I'm really excited. All the classes are taught by Black and Indigenous herbalists and community healers. And if you haven't tried out any of the teachers before, this is a great opportunity to learn from them. If you're new to herbalism, this is a great opportunity for you to get into it. If you're already a herbalist, this is a great way for you to come and convene with other herbalists and healers so that we can build a collective health initiative throughout the diaspora. And so that is the goal. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you to everyone, all our sponsors, the Chi, the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, Herb Farm, the Chestnut Herbal School, Traditional Medicinals. So there's amazing sponsors and opportunity, and this is for the community, and we look forward to seeing you either in person or virtually. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. And shout out to Kim again, who said that she's going to be driving in from Birmingham. Wow.
Wow.
That's a little distance there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Beautiful thing. We'll be happy to see you and to meet you in person. Definitely looking forward to that. I'll be presenting there as well, talking about respiratory health, and such an amazing lineup that Ketnu put together. So shout out to that. And we're going to take this time to wrap it up. We want to thank everyone again for tuning in. You can catch us next week. I believe next week our final episode of the season.
Yes, it is.
Next week is our final episode of the season. So tune in next week as we'll be back talking about something else. Whatever's pertinent to the time, So we are the Collective Health Initiative. To find more information about us, you can visit iamit.me/Collective Health Initiative. I am health, excuse me. /I am health. Check that out. And we will see you all next week. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Right on, right on.